bad ending with Flynn Lives. So please stay tuned. We'll be right back after this.
Welcome back to Horrible Games 2022. Thank you all so much for joining us. We are raising money to write Love on Our Arms, and we are back with a run of Silent Hill 3 from Abby's Corner. Abby, take it away.
Hello again. You just heard me. In Silent Hill Origins, this is going to be a no QSQL run, which means no quick saves, no quick loads, which means no glitches. For the most part, there's like one tiny little one, but it's allowed, so that's a good thing. So, in 3, 2, 1, let us begin.
Let's go. Also, hi, I'm Charbunny and I'm back too. Woo, let's go.
Yay.
Good luck.
This is my favorite Silent Hill game. It's also the game that introduces Robbie the Rabbit. Also,
Yes!
I would like to give a quick shout out to Cat Link, who unfortunately couldn't join us today. She's actually the one who got me into speedrunning this game and helped a lot with getting it set up, because on PC the game can be a little bit difficult to get running. And right now we are going to die thanks to this thing right here, which I used to call a Nintendo 64 because it reminds me of early Nintendo 64 games. But it's called a closer, and it looks like we're going to get a medium kill. No, it looks like medium slow, actually, because he went for the double hit like that. I kind of have...
This is an intro. We're required to die in the intro. We're not just doing this for funsies.
Yes, it is required. On normal difficulty, you don't have to die to this thing. You can actually do something a little tiny bit faster. Of course, now we're back in the real world. We've woken up from our nightmare, and we're running away from a detective who's kind of being a dick, and we're just running back to the mall. Also, I have a question about the song that just played. Does that not sound like an end-of-game good job song rather than a, hey, this is like one of the first songs you hear in the video game?
Oh, it kind of does, doesn't it?
Yes.
Huh.
So I'm always
Does
like...
that mean we won already? We got out of the nightmare. Great job, we did it!
Yeah, no, unfortunately not. We are not through the video game yet, as we are now running through, and we now have the first enemy in the real world, which are raptors, which I think are called numbodies, but I call them raptors. I give all kinds of enemies fun little names, because I never know what they're called, and I'm just like, well, you remind me of this. So this is what you're called from now on. And of course, they're going to multiply shortly, because of course they are. And we have a gun that we're not going to use for regular enemies. As a matter of fact, we use the handgun for one enemy and one enemy only, but that is coming up in probably 5 minutes or so. Just off the top of my head, I may have very much no times for how much time loss things could give us and whatnot, because I may have played this game a little bit too much, not gonna lie. So luckily we got past that closer, we've opened the door, and of course there is another Shakespeare reference with these books. However, on easy we don't have to worry about it. 3, 5, 4, 6. Of course, pick up the ammo because we need it. So 3, 5, 4, 6. And we meet Claudia, who is the main antagonist for the game. She's kind of a cult leader. She's kind of also brainwashed by Dahlia from Silent Hill 1 and Silent Hill Origins. Fun fact, she's actually named after the wife of legendary Italian horror film director Dario Argento's wife. Also, fun fact, speaking of Dario Argento, Akira Yamaoka, the composer for Silent Hill 3 and Silent Hill Origins' favorite film, is Dario Argento's Suspiria from 1977, which is a fantastic film. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. So, luckily the dogs were very nice, and hopefully these two don't sandwich me. That's actually where my sandwich emote comes from, because in the very early days of running this, they would constantly sandwich me, and it was not very nice of them. And somehow it became an emote, because why not? And then
Why not, indeed?
we turn in here to grab that. Unlike in Silent Hill Origins, by the way, we need the flashlight on because Heather can't see things in the dark. If we didn't have the flashlight on, she wouldn't know that there was a clothes hanger there and just wouldn't pick it up. There are also quite a few other items where she's like, I can't see anything, even though it's like right in front of her face and it's not even that dark. But whatever, luckily the aggression thing isn't too bad in this game, so having the light on doesn't really affect us all that much. So now we're climbing up this ladder, which we use the clothes hanger to bring down. Of course, we could watch cutscenes, as it doesn't affect IGT, but we're running on RTA, so we don't want to, watch the cutscenes as
I'll
we
be
pick
honest,
up that key.
The first few times I watched that ladder part, because we skipped the cutscenes, I missed that the ladder was up and we were dragging it down, and I thought we somehow fashioned a ladder rung out of a coat hanger, and that's what solved the puzzle. I was very incorrect.
And then we pick up this nut because we need it cracked because it has something for us that we need to unlock a door. Of course, we go on through and go on. Again, I am running this on 2D controls. The optimal control type is 3D for this game, but 3D is a little bit too difficult for me. Also, that room can be quite discombobulating, vertigo-inducing if you go to the right because the camera likes to spin, but once you know that you have to go left, it becomes quite easy. Took probably about 100 hours to get that down. If I remember correctly, but it was something that I didn't do right away for a very long time. And of course, we're introduced to bees. Aren't they lovely? Aren't they very noisy? Because of course they are. And here we go. We crack the nut. We grab a moonstone, because for some reason a walnut has a moonstone in it. Don't know how that happens, but you know what?
We talked about this last run, how there's got to be someone going around hiding these keys, right? We just found one in a room. We found some underneath the pallet earlier. Who and how put the moonstone inside that walnut? Like, did they glue it back together? Like, is one of these enemies out there with a little glue stick carefully lining the walnut so we can piece this back together, only for us to tear their handiwork apart? Like, who in this world has time for arts and crafts walnut moonstone hiding? I want to hire them for an Easter egg hunt. I think it'd be hilarious.
Yes. So now, is this dog eating? It is not. Which means Heather has a chance to do what I like to call DDRing through a door. What is DDRing through a door, you ask? DDRing is what I refer as auto-aim, as unlike Silent Hill Origins, this game has auto-aim, which means she will try to shoot an enemy. It sucks. But it looks like she's trying to dance through the door, and since Konami makes Dance Dance Revolution, it only makes sense that we call it DDRing through doors. We don't want that to happen, by the way, but it is a thing. So something to be aware of when mashing through doors is that if there's an enemy nearby, she'll try to DDR through it, and we don't want that. Now we have Mr. Splitworm, or as Mr. McSqueezy calls it, the Alaskan Bullworm. And it is dead, and I almost went to click my split button, but I'm not running any splits, so we're good. You can always get 6 shots off. I wasn't counting, so I thought I hit 6, but I only hit 5, and then I shot, and that was shot number 6, and then shot number 7. 7 shots is the second slowest pattern, 6 shots being the fastest, and then it has the ability to retreat backwards very fast, which would be the third, retreat slowly backwards, which is the fourth, and then it has 2 where it'll go across the screen, fast and slow, obviously 5 and 6 for the slowest patterns. Yeah, that's totally how I'm going to say that, it's fine. So now we're in the subway. Again, we can't really manipulate the camera, so I kind of have memorized like when the walls end and whatnot. Also, there's a Jacob's Ladder reference there with the street that begins with B. Silent Hill obviously takes a lot of references from the 1990 film Jacob's Ladder starring Tim Robbins. There is apparently a 2016 remake of the film, and it's like, please no. Also, these dogs are very calm, which is nice, so we can get down here to grab another nutcracker. This game really likes its nutcrackers. However, this thing does not look like a nutcracker to me. It looks like something that you would use for mechanical purposes, like something to do with tires or something. Granted, I don't really have extensive knowledge of nutcrackers. Char, what do you think that looks like?
Yeah, I think a socket wrench or something isn't too far off. My favorite though is when we get to use it. Like when you think about what would you use a nutcracker for? What do you think we'd use it for?
Well, apparently we're going to use it on this chain.
Take that, Resident Evil. You need bolt cutters? Nah, nutcrackers in Silent Hill gets you through everything.
Exactly. And then we go and grab the shotgun, which we will need for every other boss. We will need to pick up this ammo, of course. The more experienced runners don't take that. However, that 12 bullets is much easier. Also, that enemy only spawns if you grab the shotgun. Because in UFO, we don't grab the shotgun. And I believe in New Game Extra, we don't grab the shotgun either. So it's like, oh, that just doesn't spawn. And then we keep going down here, and then we're going to activate a door, which summons a train and dogs, which is always a lovely time. Fun fact, on 2D controls, the dogs can actually cause you to clip through the platform through auto-aiming. You don't want that to happen. It serves no benefit, and it actually can be a detriment because the train is still coming, and it's no good. Now, what I'm doing here, by the way, is counting the garbage cans, because we can't really flip the camera, because in 2D controls, the camera's kind of awful. So I count the garbage cans. After the third garbage can, you can start moving towards the stairs, and you won't have to worry about hitting a pillar or another garbage can or what have you. So that is the benefit. And now we're on the moving train. There are 3 enemies in here. Also, be careful when mashing, because she can talk to the magazines on the ground. There is this one. If we get hit, by the way, depending how we get hit, we can lose 0.7 seconds to 4 seconds. That right there is the 0.7 second time loss hit. If we get knocked down, that is the 4. And you may have noticed the shotgun shells on the seat over there. That is where the top runners pick up their shotgun shells in the subway area. But it can be a little bit hard to see it, and also perhaps a little bit hard to grab. And that's the end of the subway. The subway is, of course, the shortest section in the game, followed by the sewers, which is where we are heading now. As we just wait for the camera to turn so that we can keep walking. There we go. Ta-da! And we
like last game, using in-game time, some of the objects that you can interact with don't advance in-game time, so you can interact with them without much of a penalty, but it's just generally safer to try not to talk to any objects.
Yes, items such as ammo, guns, what have you, will stop time, health drinks, etc. Also, a random book in Hilltop can stop time, the stained glass mirror in the church can stop time, but it's really confusing what's going to stop time and what is going to stop time. So, again, best not to talk to anything. This giant raptor here can cause you 8 seconds of time loss in total because it has 2 opportunities to hit you. It has never done so, but each hit it can do will knock you down, which again causes that time loss. So it's like, oof, if we were to get hit at all. Sometimes the little raptor will block its path, which is really nice, but for the most part, it's kind of like, please don't hit me. And of course, we have our good friends, the bees, coming up. I would like to also point out that bees are a hell of a lot scarier when they are walking instead of flying, because they have a greater chance of hitting you. And it's like, please, no, don't hit me.
Please just give me my space bees.
And of course, this black screen is only on PC. HD Collection does not have it. So I use that for my advantage because I am also playing on controller. So I have my thumb almost in the top left-hand corner so that she makes that turn properly. So that I don't have to wait for the scene to load. And hopefully that raptor there gives us a short turn, because wouldn't that be oh so kind? I am also a runner of the HD Collection version of this game, and let's just say it is big oofs in some aspects. One of the better aspects of that game is that the Leonard fight is much faster, as he only takes 4 shots on the ground. But other than that, that game is kind of a nightmare, and I do not recommend. It is more for those who are a bit masochistic. And then here we go. We've activated that, which allows us to get down there. If you don't activate the machine, there's just mucky water, and she's like, no, I'm not doing that. Now, one thing to note, on 2D controls, do not adjust your controls when going across the bridge. If you do, she goes a little crazy, and it could screw up your movement. Wait until after the camera returns behind her to start adjusting your movement. Otherwise, big trouble. And not Big Trouble in Little China. Of course, falling in the water costs you 4 seconds as well. And we're about to come across a bridge and a skip. Well, not really a skip, but a strat I call dryer bounce, because on 2D controls, it's a little... when it comes to things. 3D controls, you have a bit more control over Heather, and the camera's not going to fight with you as much. But on 2D, so what I do is I use the garbage bin there to bounce off of it, quote unquote. So I start turning around it to be able to hit the dryer to pick it up. I also have 2 more bounces, if you will.
I just like that this has got to be the least safe environment to use a hairdryer. Do you see how damp everything is? The risk of electrocution is not looking good here.
Oh, you just wait for the electrocution part. Because guess what? We're about to electrify Splitworm Jr. as he is now dead in the water.
Splitworm Jr.?
Oh,
what did he ever do to you?
He was going to kill me if I didn't.
He hadn't done that yet, though. So.
True. And of course, more bees. Also, we will no longer have any more giant raptors in the run. The giant raptors are done. And we're going to walk down here. Now, one weird thing about this spot is, for some reason, if you try to adjust Heather's movement, despite the fact that the camera is behind us, down on the floor, she goes a little crazy. So you want to wait until you're on the stairs to adjust movement if you need to. As we are coming up on the end of the sewers and into Hilltop, or as I call it, the apartments, because we do go into a proper apartment building because that's where we live. So the apartments is what I call the split. One thing, if you do wish to run this game on PC, is you do need splits, because you have to run I forget what they're called, but it's the thing where the clock will count IGT time, because that is a rule implemented for Silent Hill 2 and Silent Hill 3, and I think Silent Hill 4. So something to keep in mind when running the Silent Hills that are on PC. Console versions, you do not need a timer, so if you and LiveSplit don't get along like LiveSplit and I do, then not necessary. Now, for this black screen, I have put my analog stick in the bottom right-hand corner this time, so that it maneuvers to where she's not going to run into any walls. And of course, she has broken her arm, because physics/gravity makes me think that the way with her arm is placed, and the fact that she's jumping down a hole, that would definitely break her arm. But I am no scientist, so I would have no idea. Thoughts, Char, on that statement?
I mean, she just moved it really fast out of the way. Just like, zoop! Have you ever done that with your arms? Just they're horizontal and then they're immediately vertical the next frame?
Sure. So here we have rope bounce, the latest of the bounces that I do, because that rope is really, really finicky and she likes to talk to the desk a lot, which is what we don't want. So what I do there is I kind of like use the corner as a bouncing off point. And it works, and I'm happy that I don't talk to the desk 5,000 times. Also, we're about to come to the last raptors of the run as well, as we come in here into this movie studio that for some reason will have an elevator jack in it. Don't ask me why a movie studio looking place has an elevator jack. Also, we are picking up the health drinks because we need a total of 6 throughout the run. There are 2 methods that you can do. You can use what I believe are called ampules. I think that's what we called it. That's what the full health drinks are called. Or you can use health drinks to heal yourself throughout walking through Silent Hill. By the way, we aren't in Silent Hill yet, for anybody that doesn't know. We are outside of the town of Silent Hill until after Hilltop itself. We use the rope to get down. What she ties the rope to, I have no idea, because it doesn't ever show us tying the rope to something. So, that's a thing. Also, a very clean bathtub is going to send us to hell. I don't know if the devs of this game were trying to send a message about bathtubs or not.
That's just such a dramatic transformation from such an innocuous object. I love it.
And here we meet the biggest dick in all of Silent Hill history, Vincent. I don't like him. He is some people's favorite character, but he is such a dick. And now we also have slurpers everywhere, and we need to collect 3 items. One of them was that medical bottle there. I forget what it's called because I clicked too fast. We also got our 3rd health drink of the run, and our 2nd shotgun shell pickup of the run as well, and some lovely rotting pork liver. So delicious. And nutritious.
Yeah, I know what I'm having for dinner after this run. It's not that, though. Just, nope. And we can do the elevator floors in any order, right? There's not a set order we have to be going in here?
No, you have to do 1st and then 5th, because
okay.
otherwise we would be backtracking. So 1st, then 5th, and then we can activate things to be able to progress down to the 4th floor, go through that door. And this bucket's hitbox is so weird, because if you stand against the bucket, even though in the cutscene that's what she's putting those in, the game will be like, you can't use those items here. And then you have to de-equip them all and do the thing. Also, a lot of runners call this the worst hallway in the game. I vehemently disagree, and I will point out the worst hallway in the game momentarily as that slurper hits me. And you know what? That's okay, because this hallway is still better than the worst hallway in the game. Ha 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 ha. Also, this room can take a bit of getting used to because of how the camera likes to shift. And we needed some soda because she's feeling a little thirsty. However, there was no soda in there. There was a key. Why there is a key in a soda pop can, I have no clues.
I would help, but I also don't have much of an answer. It just seems like a safety hazard if you're trying to drink soda and you get a key instead.
Yeah. Alright, we have gone, and now we can go in here, because there's slurpers, and there's also a magic book that'll get rid of the closer or whatever is blocking our way out of there. So she reads the fairy tale, which tells her the magic words, which I totally don't know. I'm sorry, everyone, but I've, like, literally heard them, like, 3 times, maybe, and I don't pay attention that much. Also, this is the book on the floor here that she'll read that pauses the timer, but we don't want to do that, so be careful when mashing through the door, otherwise she will read the book. And now we are running quickly home because Heather will be late for dinner. Because it's late. Her father's waiting. She was supposed to buy something for her dad. She couldn't find it. She told him that on the phone. And she's finally home. And that hallway can be a little iffy. Again, most of these things that are saying a little bit iffy are for 2D controls. There's only 2 of us that run 2D controls. So she has found her father dead. Also, surprise, her father is Harry Mason, for those that didn't know. Also, / spoilers, because technically we're not supposed to know that that's Cheryl, but spoilers. And it was thanks to this thing. And, of course, we get memes. Because memes. But we have killed him. And you need...
We were trying to shoot him in the back, if I remember correctly, right?
You can also hit him in the chest, but he kind of blocks it a bit more. He takes more damage in the chest, but again, he can use his tonfas to block it. So Harry Mason is dead, boo-hoo, and Heather has decided to go take revenge against Claudia inside Silent Hill. Because revenge is a dish best served angry. And, of course, in that cutscene, we find out about James from Silent Hill 2. The games do take place in canonical order. However, James's story in Silent Hill 2 is kind of its own thing. Also, if you're looking to find out how to get through Silent Hill, you want to follow this red car. You want to look out for it. Then, you want to look out for this white van. You are then going to wait for this fence to end, and then head into the gas station. Then, you are going to want to look out for the ice cream truck. Once you pass the ice cream truck, you want to heal. That's why we equip the health drink, so that you can heal. If you don't have a button set up yet to heal, then don't worry about healing, you'll just go a little bit slower. Then you want to look out for the white car and the blue car, because, again, it's very foggy, very hard to see. Then you're going to pay attention to the fence on the right side. There are going to be 2 red signs. Once you have passed the second red sign, sorry, not right sign. I mean, it is on the right, but it's red that we're looking for, because there's more than red signs. And then we're in the hospital. Sometimes a dog can be chasing us the entire way and cause DDRing to happen, so it's kind of like, But yes, Douglas was looking for James at one point. Also, if you want to know the canonical years, if you will, even though it's still highly debated on when each game takes place, Silent Hill Origins takes place in 1977. Silent Hill 2 takes place in 1984. Silent Hill 2 takes place in 1993, and Silent Hill 3 takes place in 2001. Also, this door code will always be the same. If you're on PC, I would suggest switching to a mouse, even if you use a controller, because it can be kind of a living nightmare trying to do that with a controller. Also, if you have a zoom button, you can see the clock time for this. We're at 4:59. Very lovely code, 1234, 12345, and then mash the highest number to open that as fast as possible. The reason I say that this game takes place in 2001, by the way, is because Heather is 17 years old, and she's kind of born at the events of Silent Hill 1's ending. So 1984 plus subtract 2001 is 17, so it makes sense. I could be completely wrong, and also the years could be completely wrong. Again, I'm just doing dumb math for the sake of dumb math. And here we see the world's most amazing art piece that belongs in a museum, so much better than the Mona Lisa or Vincent van Gogh's Starry Night. We're going to use this opportunity to equip the shotgun, by the way, since we have to have the menu open anyway. And, of course, use the nail polish remover to remove the key. Because we
And the shotgun is for the Leonard fight coming up, correct?
Yes, it is for the boss fight. Or if we wanted to kill any other enemies, not that we're going to do that. Also, the layout of the hospital is the exact same as Silent Hill 2. 1437 is our code. Also, I did mention before I interrupted myself about 2 of us run 2D controls. The other runner that runs 2D controls is Aaron, who is the Silent Hill 3 or Silent Hill 2 world record holder for most categories, as well as some Silent Hill 1. He did have all the PS2 world records for this game. However, he lost all of them this week. So, yeah. But he does do 2D controls because Silent Hill 2 and Silent Hill 4 want 2D controls. And so, because he runs Silent Hill 2 the most, he doesn't want to have to switch them. So, yeah. And then Silent Hill 2 and 4 are 2D controls. I just run 2D controls because it's really uncomfortable for me to do 2D controls, or 3D controls in this game. Sorry, I got confused. So we just picked up a telephone with Leonard, who may be a bit crazy, and we're going to meet him. So we went back down to the second floor and went into this very rusted hallway, which surprisingly has very functioning gates.
They just spent all of their money on gate maintenance and forgot to budget for literally anything else.
Exactly. And we're just running through because we are. It's always so good. And
It's a
again,
nice chill run. Oh, it's less chill now. These gates are scary. I feel like they jump scare me if I played it.
that's fair. Also, you have to make this gate fall for this gate to open. You cannot get that gate to open unless the other one has fallen. And now we are on the third and final hallway. Seems very cozy, nothing out of the ordinary. But oh no, they're closing behind us. They won't close on us. They are triggered for afterwards. Oh no, what am I going to do? Oh, just click on this very culty, satanic looking sign. And now we are in the Hell Hospital, where we meet the most powerful Silent Hill character based on core strength. Say hello to Mr. Core Strength. Why is he Mr. Core Strength? Pay attention to his arms. Look at his legs. You can see that his arms are way too busy. His legs aren't really doing anything for support. Therefore, we can deduce that it is his core strength keeping him afloat. Also, there was a green shoe on that nurse. Supposedly, that is Lisa Garland from Silent Hill 1, even though she wears red shoes. So, that's a thing.
Well, everything else here is red, and so for style reasons, you wear red shoes to stand out, and so when you switch into Red Hell, you have to wear green shoes instead. I think it's just a clean, clear fashion choice.
I suppose. Now, there is no order for these floors. You can do floor basement 3 first. However, when I was learning this game, I didn't realize that elevator rides could, 1, be skipped, 2, pause IGT. So in my mind, I was like, okay, second floor first, then the third floor because the ride would be shorter, right? And then basement 3 because that's the next logical step of where we need to go, and then the first floor. So that's why I do it in that order. Some runners do it in the other order. Also, doing it in the order that I do it makes equipping the perfume a little faster. The reason I equip the perfume will become known after we get into the amusement park. But we have to get there first, of course. And of course, there is a puzzle here that would happen if we weren't on easy, but because we're on easy, we get to skip the puzzles. Because we don't want to do any puzzles, we just want to be fast. We need to be Sonic the Hedgehog, okay?
Gotta go fast.
And then, of course, the last nurse of the run. And of course, the lovely Slurpers are here. And now it's time for everybody's favorite boss, the run killer known as Leonard, who, if I understand correctly, is technically Heather's grandfather, because I believe Claudia is her biological mother, I think? So we're going to try to bait him into not swimming. The way we do that is we fire, we let go of the trigger, press the trigger again, and then immediately fire while stepping backwards, and it usually stops him from swimming. There are chances where he will swim again, of course, There is a faster way to kill him, by the way, after I believe it's 3 shotgun shots. You walk up to him with the SMG and just unload, but I suck at aiming with the SMG, so I just sit there and unload it on him with the shotgun. Also, shoutouts to Mr. McSqueezy, who told me about the baiting strat, where we get him to not swim, because I didn't know about that. If he swims, we can actually lose a ton of time because he has a chance to swim up to a total of 7 times before dying. One run I had while practicing during the week, he actually swam 4 times, and I was being like, you better swim 7 times. You better swim 7 times. And he never did. And, of course, on our way back here, we are running through. We'll see bees. It's pretty much doing the same thing, only we're healing the second we get past that. Also,
and this heals for stamina, right? We're
Yes.
not getting damaged by the fog. We just need more energy to run outside.
Yes, although if we did get hit, it would also heal HP as well.
And this is something where we don't have to worry about this inside. Inside, we can run all we want, but outside is where we get tired. We only get exhausted if this fog is around.
Actually, it's only because this is the longest part where we run.
Oh, there we go then.
Yeah, because I think stamina recharges after going through doors. I could be wrong about that. Nobody's told me whether that's a thing, but it's because we are running so long interrupted that we need the heals. So that's a thing.
Good thing we have them. We use 3 outside, and again, we're picking up 6 total because we'll need more for the final boss.
Yes, and we've picked up 5 so far because we pick up 2 when we pick up the plastic bag. Usually for this heal, because I don't think it matters, but usually I wait till I hear or see the second dog. Usually I don't wait too long after seeing the white van if I see the white van, because it's literally just taking a straight line into the amusement park, which is where we woke up in the nightmare, by the way. So that is also a thing. Only there's more stuff in the nightmare this time, and there's more things to do, including our favorite part of the game. Also, we get to see our boy Robbie all over the place. He's got
There's
a little
bunnies.
blood on him, or
That's fine. It's ketchup.
or as they say in Shaun of the Dead, you've got red on you. Of course, we need to go in here because we need a key. Will we get a short key or a long key? You kind of need to... We got a short key. Very nice. This is the place some players go if they're using the amp heal strategy to pick up an amp heal, because there's one there. There's a ton of healing items in here. Some ammo. It's a good place to stock up if you're having a casual playthrough. And the reason I equipped the perfume was for that closer we just passed. If you're not wearing the perfume, he actually kind of becomes a brick wall and will hit you. And it's like, we don't want that. So we put on the perfume so he'll be out of the way. And now we're climbing up here because reasons. And of course we can hear noises. So we're going to turn off the roller coaster as done. This is technically what you're supposed to do in the nightmare to wake up from it in the beginning of the game. But we choose to die by the closer instead because it's a lot faster. And of course, if you are playing on normal difficulty, you can fall off edges because, you know, that's how it be. And in the cutscene, we found out that Douglas has been duped by the cult. And, yeah, and now we are heading to the Borley Haunted Mansion. We're so glad you came. Please come inside and look around. When you feel you're ready, then go through the door. This is actually one of the best spots to hydrate if you need to do so, because we are literally just standing waiting for speeches to end.
And hey, if you've hydrated, you could also donate. Just a reminder that we're raising money for charity, and that would be fantastic.
Yes. On New Game Extra, you can skip most of the dialogue. Also, as I found out, if you die to the red light, it'll put you all the way back to the start of the amusement park. However, you can skip all the dialogue. So it treats it as if it were New Game Plus. Or New Game Extra, as this game calls it.
Why would you want to skip all of this fantastic dialogue, though?
It depends how much speed you want.
That's fair. Do want to go fast. Can't spend forever playing around in the Haunted Mansion.
Indeed. Now, you do have to activate Danny, though. You always have to activate Danny, otherwise the game won't let you go through this door. His hometown is New Orleans, by the way, but he came here after first losing his way. As you can see, I'm taking this opportunity to hydrate, to give my throat a bit of a break, because it's been a lot of talking for 2 runs. It is quite
It's a good
old.
plan.
So please, I'm so sorry. And again, there is a puzzle on harder difficulties, and it will come down and crush you, but again, because we're on easy, it just goes doot, and we're good. So, when he says assure you on New Game Plus / if you die, you can then go through the door, but we have this speech to get through. If you prefer, we could come and visit you instead. Oh, but wait, it wasn't the exit. Because nobody wants us to leave. Everyone really likes us. They want us to stay with them forever. I have to agree with them. Don't be afraid. Dying is much easier than living. Also, I have to give Umbrella Jill a shout out because she has actually helped me a ton when it comes to getting out of there as fast as possible. Usually I can get out of there before he finishes the sentence. I have to agree with him right as he starts and before the, what is it called? Subtitles show up. I don't know why I drew a blank there. Yeah, thanks Jill for that, because I used to be a little bit too slow. So there's bees, that bee that is...
There's a bunny. There's a bunny.
Yes, there is a bunny
Sorry.
as well. The bee there that is walking, you have to be careful because it is very easy to get hit by it if you're not paying too close of attention all the way. Also, why is there a red shoe on a random platform in the middle of nowhere? Also...
It matches the green shoe from earlier. Just so many fun shoe colors here.
Sure. And of course, we picked up the last health drink of the run. And we're going to use the chain to open this door. One thing, do not put the chain or try to activate the chain right on the door handle, despite the fact that they, put the door handle or it on the door handle, because it goes, we can't do that. We can't do that. And it's like, all right, so you want to activate it on the door itself. Also, Douglas is dead. You have no proof that he's alive because I skipped the cutscene, so you have to take my word for it. And he died. Very,
Aww.
very unfortunate. And
Can we get an F in chat for Douglas? I feel kind of bad.
And then we activate the shoe on Cinderella, and we activate the doll head on Snow White. But what does dolls have to do with Snow White? Well, if you paid attention to the shape of the doll head, you might notice it's shaped like a certain fruit. I wonder what fruit that could be. And then, of course, we have the Alyssa boss fight. Of course, to start the horses, we go into the save menu here, quickly leave because it skips the startup, and 1 horse, 2 horse, 3 horse. I'm also not doing this the optimal strategy, by the way. I believe they go the other way, but I don't know how to do it the other way. Also, talking to the horses pauses the IGT timer. So, if you see me talking to them, that's why. Plus, I have to wait for them to come down anyway, so it doesn't really matter if you're trying to get RTA or IGT time, because you're still waiting regardless. But when running, we do time it by IGT, so talk to the horses all we like if we must. And then we're going to wait for a sound to play to do the same thing we did earlier. So, once you hear that click, go into the save menu, exit, stops their movement startup, and goes straight into the cutscene where we fight the evil version of ourselves. Dun dun dun. And we got a 2 cycle there. It can go up to 4 I've had, depending how the shots go. Also, we're looking at the center there to kind of manipulate her spawn location. Shoutouts to Mr. McSqueezy again, who told me about that as well. And of course, another 2 cycle, very excellent, makes things go very fast. And then we have, and she keeps getting a new weapon every time, by the way. So that is also another thing. Now, her 4th and final form, she takes 3 shots minimally because we're going to shoot her down. You notice how she's on the ground? You can take another shot on the ground, and then but she can't die from a shot on the ground. She has to be dying standing up. So I still consider that a 2 cycle because of that. So very nice. And she's also the only boss that doesn't have a ending cutscene. She just kind of dies. And also be careful when mashing here, because you'll notice how her head is going to turn to the walls after this room. She will read what is on the walls. We don't want that to happen because it doesn't pause the timer, and it's just all around a bad time. So you want to wait till she hits the stairs before mashing to open the door. As we are in the final section of the game, which is the church. In this cutscene, she tries to tell Claudia to stop being Claudia and tries to pretend to be Alyssa, but it doesn't work, and Claudia still wants to summon God, who, by the way, is inside of us, and supposedly we're going to give birth to God, is the whole plan, which is why she killed her father, because she wants revenge. 1, 2. The reason I'm counting 1, 2, by the way, is because you need to take a minimum of 2 steps before doing this. Darn you. There's a ghost girl that cries, and she's going to cry as I have to do this a 5th time because she's trying to get to a location. But we can skip waiting for her by walking in and out of the room. We also have to do that again as well. It is faster to get a 6 cycle than it is for her to wait. Optimally, we want 3 cycles. Unfortunately there, we had a 5. Boo hiss. As we are gathering cards, we also see Vincent. He tells us that, by the way, we haven't been actually killing monsters. We've been killing real humans the entire time.
No!
Yes, and she is absolutely mortified by this fact. Her father was not so mortified by this fact, for whatever reason. Also, you do need the light on here to pick up everything in this room, and we need those shotgun shells because God is going to take a minimum of 14 shots, so we picked up 24 bullets. We have more than enough to kill God. And of course, we have some lovely bees once again. Bees are everywhere.
14 shotgun shells still feels like a weirdly low amount to kill God, but it's Silent Hill.
To be fair, it is not the immortal God because of what happens here in a few moments. Also,
good point.
If you're noticing the thumping sound, when I initially started speedrunning this game, for some reason it reminded me of Zelda: A Link to the Past. So I always made the joke that Ganon was vacationing from the Dark World here, why he would choose here instead of being in the Dark World, because the Dark World has some wonderful golden trees, is a mystery. Hey, she gave us a 3 cycle.
That was another one of those wait for the ghost rooms where just going in and out is actually faster than waiting.
Yes. And we find out about a pill that we actually have access to, which allows us to puke up God. So that's why we can kill God with 14 shots, because we're going to puke her up, and Claudia's going to eat her and give birth to God, but because it wasn't the right person, it's not immortal. And that's why we can kill it.
None of that sounds like a good idea.
No. No, it does not. Also, the missionaries are running around and being regular enemies now. You might have remembered him as the murderer of our father. Well, there's more of them now. Also, I'm surprised we haven't DDR'd through any doors yet. So, that's also a thing. And now we are performing the last bounce of the run. I call it desk bounce, because again, the camera and Heather's movements do not agree because of the changing. So I use the desk to use as a bouncing point to avoid the desk in the center, because otherwise I'll just run into the desk in the center. So again, you can kind of clearly see which desk I'm talking about with the bouncing, and there we go. Also, if you go look at the cancer, or the big man as I call them, in the center there, it will spawn in a missionary in that hallway. So it's always best to not look at the big man just lying there. Otherwise, a missionary spawns in to try to impede our path.
How rude.
Indeed. And we're just going through. More bees, of course. One of them might hit me, but who knows? Good, they didn't hit us, and we got into the door a little faster. And we enter here for another puzzle, the final puzzle. The puzzle does not change based on what difficulty you're on. Whatever difficulty you play on, it'll always be the same. So, what we want is that, the moon there. I also used to make a Yu-Gi-Oh joke when doing this puzzle, because there is a duelist in Yu-Gi-Oh GX that uses cards that are based on tarot cards, and so I used to name one of them out because one of them is the moon. And this was the worst hallway in the game, by the way. I hate this hallway because of how the camera changes. It took me forever for that hallway to not be a problem. So now, Vincent is dead. We have puked up God. Claudia has eaten God. Mr. Core Strength made a return. He's actually in a lot of cutscenes. He has made a return and whatnot. He actually doesn't want us to die. So when we die in the Hell World, he drags us off to revive us because he's actually an angel. Believe it or not. Isn't that just frightening?
I mean, if this is God, I can absolutely believe he's an angel.
So
we're coming up really close on time here, by the way.
Yes. You can get away with 5 heals, by the way, based on how much damage you're walking into this fight with. If you're in yellow health, you will need to use all 6. By the way, that is time. We have done
Yay!
the things.
GG's.
And Heather's about to kick God in the head because she's angry, because technically she wanted to kill Claudia, but Claudia died giving birth and is pissed. So yes, but that is Silent Hill 3. And Char, is there anything you would like to plug for yourself?
I would just like to say thanks for having me. I've been really enjoying learning and doing some commentary for Silent Hill. This game has a bunny in it, so that's also great. So yeah, appreciate you having me.
Yes, and you can catch her on Twitch at charbunny_.
Char_bunny. I usually stream platforming speedrunning games, so not so much this genre, but we have a lot of fun with that.
And you can catch me on Twitch TV /abbiescorner. I gave my Twitter earlier, which of course is Abby_Brander. You can usually find out when I'm live. Sometimes I post Yu-Gi-Oh retweets and whatnot, but mainly when I'm live and stuff. You can also follow me on Instagram at everyvillainislemons with 2 S's on the end. I also have a co-host, though I can't post anything on that yet, so I'm not going to plug that one, because I can't post anything on it yet. And thank you all so much for having me. This has also been the Silent Hill block. There is no more Silent Hill after this, unfortunately. Sad face. And
But there are lots of other amazing games. Please make sure to stick around and watch and continue supporting.
yes, indeed. We have some Goosebumps Dead of Night later, and we also have Illbleed tomorrow, which has an incentive right now. Please donate to that incentive. Randy is great. He makes lots of funny noises. He's also trapped in a wood puppet. I also speedrun that game. So I kind of know about it. Speaking of which, that's what I'll be streaming for a week. Because I have that in an event next weekend. But yes, thank you all so much, and farewell, as we find out that Douglas is actually alive. I lied the entire time. How could I?
Yeah,
Alrighty.
welcome back, Douglas.
Thank you so much for the run, to both of you for the run and the commentary. Thank you again. We will be taking a short break, and when we come back, we will have a run from Nick RP Green doing Metal Gear Survive New Game Plus Bad Ending. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
What would be